son doesn't see you, or you now lose that connection with your wife. Or let's say, for example, we're seeing with Pep Guardiola, for example, like I feel like you serve what's in front, like you serve in different capacities to different people.
That's a phenomenal example, by the way, in regards to Pep Guardiola, and we can only speak from the outside, all right?
100%.
We can only speak from the outside. Sorry, have you seen the news today that he might be reconciling with his wife?
Yeah, 3 months. Yeah,
mate,
3 days. And
I said
100%.
I said amazing.
But you know the thing is,
amazing.
Bro, the mad thing is though, and I can't lie, that's why you see
life.
You see that celebration against Aston Villa.
I'm gonna check it out.
I feel like there was more to it. I can't lie, because I'm just saying because he put his life on the line for this club, you know. For him not to get champs, it's crazy.
Me, you, and the driver, we gotta get this photo together. We gotta get this selfie.
Oh, open it. Have you got a bag? A bag for fucking what? You grocery shopping or something? You doubling up on these bags?
I was like, wow, women are incredible.
I've been out here every single weekend since I've been doing this, picking up people who have had amazing nights.
Off, mum, I'm sleeping. I'm staying here. Leave me alone.
I mean, I've always said this anyway, that this thing has killed me, but I can see I've aged. I look at my beard, mad grey hairs. It is mad.
I feel like, because it's funny because what you're saying is like a constant search of like self-discovery, and I feel like now, especially young people, they're looking for their purpose. But I'm in the belief that you serve different purposes at different points in your life.
Amazing.
So the way I'm thinking now, I might just be thinking the perspective of as an older brother. So I'm just serving myself as an older brother. I'm serving life as an older brother. So I'm very much cautious. I've got Romeo, got my little ones. Like I'm just trying to be the best example. But then there might be a mad shift if I get married, for example, because now I'm serving, or I'm living as a husband per se.
Yeah.
And my life and my perspective completely changes. And then I become a father. It's like, okay, cool. Like now my little ones, man. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like this narrative that we serve one purpose, I feel like you serve anything that's in front of you.
Do you know what? Finish, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, only because I want to say, and I'll add, it's like, okay, cool. Let's say, for example, I become the biggest public speaker in the world. By God's grace, cool. I can be the biggest public speaker to the outside, but be an absent older brother for my little sister. I haven't served that purpose. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Because that's what genuinely happens a lot. It's like you become something for so many other people, but those that mean the most to you, they don't. It's like you've seen like you become a top pop star, but then your son doesn't see you, or you now lose that connection with your wife. Or let's say, for example, we're seeing with Pep Guardiola, for example, like I feel like you serve what's in front, like you serve in different capacities to different people.
That's a phenomenal example, by the way, in regards to Pep Guardiola, and we can only speak from the outside, all right?
100%.
We can only speak from the outside. Sorry, have you seen the news today that he might be reconciling with his wife?
Yeah, 3 months. Yeah,
mate,
3 days. And
I said
100%.
I said amazing.
But you know the thing is,
amazing.
Bro, the mad thing is though, and I can't lie, that's why you see
life.
You see that celebration against Aston Villa.
I'm gonna check it out.
I feel like there was more to it. I can't lie, because I'm just saying because he put his life on the line for this club, you know. For him not to get champs, it's crazy. But I hope they don't get champs in it. I'm still United Sports. So.
See, all right, look, because I saw it this morning. So what I found really funny and interesting about it was that like people were saying like, have you seen Man City's resurgence recently in regards to semi-final of the FA Cup? Obviously their win in the week, etc., etc.
Right.
Like it's of no surprise that he's beginning to reconcile things with his wife, and his upturn in fortune has changed.
Okay.
Are they aligned? Also, the decline in Man City as well. He was going through what will be a difficult patch in his life. Do you know what I mean? And Man City was struggling. I'm not surprised with that whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? And it's quite funny because I know some people were saying that he should, at the time, I think he should step down, etc., etc. Or maybe people sometimes won't even take into consideration, yo, this man actually has a life outside of football. And I'm telling you, a relationship
can do that for sure.
Yeah, can alter, your.
But do you feel like that goes both ways though? Because I feel like he also became so obsessed. Obviously, we know Pep to be obsessed, but from outside looking in, please, I don't even like to speak about people too much, but outside looking in, it's like it was confirmed by their family that he was going to make a decision to step down, right?
I think so, yes.
But because he loves the game so much, but he was ready to like risk it, and that's what happened. I don't know. I think it's very funny though, because I feel like there has to be a boundary between life and work. But I know that sometimes you can become.
Do you know
your work can become your life. So I don't know.
I think the example I wanted to give actually was
What?
oh no, what was I gonna say? I think the example I wanted to give. What's on?
No, that was amazing.
Okay, cool. No, I think the example I wanted to give was, so I kind of forgot myself, is that, like me myself, okay, cool. So I struggle with this myself sometimes. So like, obviously I became an author, I think a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago or something along those lines.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And before that, I used to struggle with the idea that Andrew was this football person, and I used to tell people, I'm more than football. I don't just coach, or I don't just you know, work in talent identification.
Right.
You know, I like reading. You know, I like writing. You know, I do so much more than actually just work in football. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes I try to even run from the identity that I actually work in football. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But at the same time, the example you gave in regards to Pep Guardiola, I think was phenomenal. That sometimes you can, I think what you said was, you can sometimes give so much to one thing that you begin to kind of neglect the other.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
yes,
he
he might be a coach and a manager and one of the most successful of all time. But in so, it can take away from some of your other priorities and
100%.
duties, which is actually being a husband, you know, being a father. Are you coming out just going to stay and look at
I'm
us?
telling you, bro. No, but you know what's so fascinating, bro? And I love that you raised the point, because it's almost like I believe also in that there's like it's not pride and ego and agenda, but it's like he has this thing to fulfill, that he is the best. But and the thing is, I feel like this realization of how life has gone for him, and how quick we as football media or fans are ready to switch on him, that he didn't have a more successful season.
Just talking nonsense.
Goes to show that what he was trying to fulfill and push, it can switch over time. I hope that makes sense, because you know how like the managerial thing can become such an identity that he's the best of the best. Yeah. And try to maintain this thing, but then as soon as he went left, it's like, wait, hold on, I'm doing all of this, but then I go left and you forget about me, or do you know what I'm saying? But then you've actually forgotten what you put so much 100% in. You've actually forsaken what was important in your life, and those that always had you. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like you can actually make football become your idol still.
Even with that, and
that's from
I hope this is a bit of wisdom like coming out, or just experience actually, nothing to do with wisdom. Like, you'll find perfect Jamie Vardy. So yesterday, Jamie Vardy announces that he's leaving Leicester. Right. All of a sudden on the radio, they're talking about how can he not be in the top 10 forwards in Premiership history. And I'm not saying he's not, but we wouldn't be pushing that agenda today if he didn't announce he's stepping away from Leicester yesterday.
100%. Agreed.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
I completely understand you,
So
bro.
people having arguments, not in regards to people. Yesterday on the radio, I didn't hear the whole argument. People comparing him against Thierry Henry. If he played for Arsenal, he'll look different. If he went to Arsenal when he said he would do.
That's the biggest side eye in my life.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Side eye in my life.
And I don't necessarily
comparing
believe
to Thierry. Just get off this place.
Thierry may be a stretch, but they're trying to compare and contrast with other forwards who've done well. Van Nistelrooy was in there, Sergio Aguero, Wayne Rooney. There was a number of different forwards that were beginning to kind of compare him with. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, at the end of your story, you know, your journey will look completely different. Whereas now, for Pep Guardiola, because he's going through a difficult time and it's not the end of his story, all right, people are looking at it through the lens of the here and now in which he's struggling. Whereas you're not looking at the whole
picture. But then when he's done, he'll be going like it's almost like they'll give him 10 foot. Like, he'll even look 10 foot higher or 10 foot taller because he's now done and finished. No, agreed, 100%.
That's why I'm very conscious of the fact that, like, one, that I'm doing the right thing, or I'm doing the right thing. So like, you plan and prepare, and you know what you're trying to do, and you know what you're trying to achieve. But at the same time, 100%. Try not to be prisoner of the moment in terms of difficult times, because yes, you will go through difficult times. It's just a case of back to what you're saying, being consistent. Do you know what I mean? If you're consistent in what you're doing, and you're doing the right things, good things will happen for you. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of your story, the picture will look completely different.
Agreed. It's kind of interesting though, isn't it? Oh my gosh, why are these questions like this? What is one thing you'd change about your upbringing?
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh my days. Guys, check it, bro.
Wow. I'm not too sure, and it's weird actually. I don't want to. I think I've said this in maybe other conversations that I've had. That given the passing of my dad, I'm looking at things different, and there's nothing wrong with looking at things different. There's a part of me thinking there's not much I would change. I think there are things that definitely could have been a lot better. I'm not going to deny that in any way, shape, or form. Do you know what? It sounds really stupid actually. I'll be honest. I think that I would have loved for, let's say, my mum and my dad to be a bit more present. At certain events, like might be footballing events. So I'm not too sure whether your mum or your dad were always present at football. I know they were there, but I wish they were a bit more present. But at the same time, some of the things that I've come to understand is actually life, let's say 30 years ago now, was a lot different. Do you know, in terms of some of the responsibilities they had, they couldn't afford to be there in terms of work, etc., etc. So what they had to do was pay for me to be at football, give Andrew the money, etc., etc., and allow maybe me to go with friends or actually go with my friend's parents, you know, a guardian. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, there's that really difficult balance, you know, in actually understanding that. So at the time, yes, it might, in fact, it was difficult. Do you know what I mean? But given, what you mentioned before, like you need to be able to extend your grace in terms of understanding why those sort of things took place. And I guess when you get a bit older, you understand those things maybe a little bit more.
Agreed, because you kind of go through it. I therefore hear you. I think maybe change is a bit of the, I don't know, it's kind of hard. I don't think, I definitely believe maybe your presence, and maybe the presence, I feel like, I always say that Sundays was just like me and dad day, do you know what I mean?
Okay, cool.
So he'd come and watch, do you know what I mean, a lot, and I think that's definitely something that I take from my childhood I want to replicate, which is why I'm so big on like freedom and obviously making time now so I can make time for my young ones, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how much that means, like when you can score and you've got dad on the sideline, or like, because you know what, can I be honest though, yeah, obviously, because you grew up with me and Romeo, or you see me and Romeo grow up, yeah, my dad, like he brought up me and Romeo completely different though.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah, I would say, I don't know, Romeo had this sense of, I wouldn't say being spoiled, I could be wrong.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so okay, so you know this.
Yeah, Romeo's completely different to you.
Okay, cool. So we're established here.
It's chalk and cheese.
No, bro, like, okay, thank you, bro. So I'm not going mad. I used
to think, who is this boy?
What do you say?
I used to think, who is this boy?
No. And he had an attitude, he had a bit of...
Oh my God.
So, do you know what it is? It goes into characters. I'm telling you now, now you'll see live, it'll make sense of it. Because now, do you know what? Let me even call, I need to call my dad and tell him about this. But you see, my dad had a way with me. How long we left of this journey? Because I'm actually enjoying this.
Another half an hour or so.
Okay, that's fine, cool. Alright, so me and my brother grew up differently. Obviously, Romeo's my brother, my little young brother, obviously, and Andrew's obviously there and that. But Romeo wasn't the best at football. Like, at the capacity, bro. I'm just not gonna say too much.
I'm not. He was probably more of a troublemaker.
But anything, yeah, 100%. But it's like, let's say for example, I could have the best game, right? But Romeo could miss an open goal. I always use this analogy. I could have the worst game. I mean, I could have the best game, my best game of my life. Romeo will miss an open goal, but my dad would say that Romeo played well, but he would give me constructive. Or he would just, like, I mean, he'll always give me, like, my dad was always on the flex, you could do more, you can do more, you could, but Romeo didn't get that. Romeo actually got the, do you know what? Like, I don't know how it was and how it worked, but also, Romeo was the youngest at the time. I was the middle child, or I was the first son per se. But that's how we grew up. I don't know where this come from though, because I feel like if there was something that I would definitely change in my upbringing, I don't know, Andrew, you know, it's kind of hard because I feel like it's all been like orchestrated for it to work well. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, like, I guess do you know what it is? If I was somebody that didn't make most of life now, then I'd be like, this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? But I feel like all of it is cultivated. Or let's say for example, my parents wasn't around, or let's say for example, when my dad moved out soon when I was young, it's like, it's kind of all made sense of, do you know what I mean? I feel like, I don't, this is hard to answer, I'll be honest.
No, so I was thinking as you were speaking, I don't want to say all of these things were supposed to happen, but like, because ultimately I think you become the sum or the average of, I guess, your life events in some respect, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think what I want to say is that, like, I wouldn't have this knowledge and experience and even wisdom, likewise yourself, if I didn't go through these things.
Exactly.
So it's very difficult for me to say, yes, I wish this would have been different, or I wish this would have been better, or I wish my parents would have done this or that.
100%.
Because now my perspective is actually I'm very grateful for some of the things they did, given what I know now.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And actually it's on me, given that I'm an adult, to use that knowledge and experience as an advantage for me to then, you know, push on in life. Do you know what I mean? Whereas some people might have been raised with a silver spoon and not actually understand, you know, some of the pitfalls of life, or understand actually, you know, some of the things that, you know, are actually a luxury. So some of the things which are a norm and a luxury. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, agreed. 100%. Like, for some people, some people might have had luxuries, but was their norm. Do you know what I mean? And with those things sort of taken away, you know.
I definitely agree. I think if there were just some things that I was given, was like, you know, silver. I couldn't imagine my life would look completely different if I was given everything, or if I lived in, you know, if I had my own room. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or like just things that, again, like maybe it may seem like I didn't have much to others, but now I could understand how much more it means to me. So yeah, I mean, it depends on perspective for sure. Let me do another one because I really like this one. I like this one. Oh my gosh, Andrew, you're taking it there with these questions, man. I need to even. What's your biggest regret in life so far?
Boy,
God,
biggest regret in life.
Wow.
That is a very, very difficult question.
It is.
It's a very, very difficult question.
Biggest regret. I mean,
biggest regret. There's a part of me, I don't believe this actually. You know, I do know actually. I do know. At this moment in time, I'm beginning to question some of the decisions I made. Actually, in and around that sort of time that I left to go to South America, because in that time I was working, or just before that I was working at Fulham, and I'd left Fulham. So there are parts of me that regret that I actually stepped away from the professional game for a long period of time. And I'm not necessarily talking about working in football, in which I did step away from football for a very long time, probably almost 10 years actually. But
and then you came back to Socolution, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I didn't need to do all of that. Do you know what I mean? There were silly reasons in regards to why I stepped away from football for a long period of time. And I think there were people in my ear, dare I say, maybe quite close to me at the time, that were pushing their thoughts and opinions on me, and then they become your own. But I think deep down inside, I didn't actually hold those opinions. So what I feel at this moment in time, I feel like it's not true in some respects, but I feel I'm kind of like playing catch up with where I feel I should be, given the time that I spent outside of football. Do you know what I mean? So they are regrets that I have. And another one would be, this is not a regret. I don't know. I just wish. Sorry, I'm going to say this is a regret, but I don't think I really, really mean this. I wish I had more. I wish I had more life experiences with my dad, and even with my mum actually. But mind you, my mum is here, so I still got opportunity to create those moments and actually think about those things. Actually, like now that my dad is gone, actually you've got an opportunity to actually create good life moments with your mum. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, it sounds weird, and I'm not too sure anybody will be able to relate. Like, my mum is a very, very simple woman, so like it's not like she wants to be.
You have to force it out of her. Basically.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, agree.
She's a very, very simple woman, so like she would say she doesn't like going to new places. Do you know what I mean? Whereas our generation, in terms of love going away and traveling or that type of stuff, we love going to new places. 100%. So that's a bit in conflict with what we like and what we would like to do for our parents. 100%. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think even on that standpoint, I'm so big on pushing my dad. I've never been home.
Never?
I've never been back to. I've never been Africa in general.
Okay, cool. But you got loads of time.
No, I know. I really want to, and it's not even something that's.
I don't know. Is this person
if you told me to go tomorrow, I'm down to go. And I want my dad to show me where he grew up. I think, but he.
My dad never took me home.
That one there is domestic.
Sorry, my dad never took me home. The only time we went home together when I went to bury him. That shouldn't.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
Yeah, I do think it's crazy. Do you know what I mean?
But and I think that's, I can't even get into. That's just actual politics. So, but in terms of regret, and if I'm being honest, I don't know, because I feel like a regret would have been if I stayed in uni. I feel like a regret would have been because I don't know, like, and I'm not even here to say I don't have anything set together.
Sorry, are you still thinking?
Do you have another one?
No, so are you thinking about your answer in regards to regret?
I don't really have one.
No, mind you, if you don't have one, so because I was going to expound on what I was thinking, is also some of my regrets in regards to some of the things I said, is it made me realise, not stop listening to people, do what you want.
Yeah, but this is...
Do what you want. Yeah, stop listening to people. Like, if in your heart you want to do something, go after that. You know, but with regards to that, and again, that could be quite broad in regards to how it may perceive to other people. I think when in regards to going to uni and stuff like that, I think it's really, really important that you have a good fundamental education, etc., so that if things don't quite work out, you can do X, Y, Z.
Agreed.
But at the same time, all right, ensure you do what you want. Do you know what I mean? You got one life, do you know what I mean?
But this is the thing though, I feel like I'm someone that is very much, I can't nudge my truth. Do you understand?
What do you mean by that?
As in, like, it used to bug me. Even when I was at uni, I was just like, Guerin, you're not even doing this for yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm someone, I very much, yes, you can say I'm very expressive, but I can't live a life for too long. So if you know I'm not in something, or I'm not, like, my heart is not here, I feel like you'll be able to know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still taking day by day. Obviously, there are things and choices that I wish, like maybe so much how I set up business plan, or how I could be this, or maybe I wish I just I was a bit more decisive on these things. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, I'm a bit of everything, and it doesn't really get me anywhere. I hear that 100%, but I also understand there's that truth in navigation, innit? So it's kind of a hard one, but yeah, no. But I've definitely spoken to a lot of people, and that's what I do a lot now with the advocating, speaking to a lot of people that wish they didn't actually take that route in life, or didn't live to serve their parents. So
yeah, it's weird, man, honestly. Like, I know you want to move on to the next question. I think I spent a lot of time, like, let's say in the middle. So, like, I'm a person who likes to do what I want. I will follow my heart, but I think there is an argument that I didn't follow my heart enough in regards to what I really wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? And I was listening to other voices, and I feel had I followed my heart, I'd be a lot further ahead. But at the same time, like, back to some of the things that we've spoken about before, this has given me the experience and the wisdom to understand, no, these are the things that I should be doing. Do you know what I mean? No, follow your heart, because if you don't follow your heart, you're going to be heartbroken in regards to some of the things that may await you somewhere down the line, because you'll find out you've wasted a lot of time doing X rather than Y.
No, 100, and it's like you said, it's the opinions of man that can become your own, and then you'll get upset at them.
Another thing that I'll say as well, like, because I think you said something that was really, really interesting, something that's crossed my mind for a while. I'm really interested in mentoring people, and I'm not talking about paid mentoring. I'm talking about, like, just generally just helping people. I think there's no reason why, like, for a man of, when I say experience, I'm just talking about age, but yes, I've done things, etc., etc. There's no reason why you can't, you can't
pass down your knowledge.
And I'm talking about by way of, like, just spending maybe half an hour or an hour. Like, someone might have a question or query in regards to, okay, cool, I've got this problem. What do you think about this? Do you know what I mean? What would you do if you're in my situation? What should I do, etc., etc. Or even sometimes just word of encouragement. Because I think sometimes we need that as people. I sometimes think about, what did Andrew at the age of 24 need?
Yeah, but exactly that.
Do you know what I mean? What did he need?
What did becoming who your younger self needed, basically.
What did he need? Do you know what I mean? If you have someone who's a little bit older who can actually guide and navigate you in regards to these things, you'll be a lot further ahead, because that was it. You were talking about business plans and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes someone who's maybe a good 5-10 years older than you, or someone who's can tell you, no, don't do that. You need to do this, and this will fast track you by, I don't know, 5-6 months.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Or even further than that. There's a lot of people who've walked down your path before. A lot of people have walked down your path before, and I just feel like sometimes if we pair people together, or even peer mentorship in regards to two people who are in the same position, do you know what I mean? Iron sharpens iron. 100%. Do you know what I mean? And if you're having those conversations, instead of having that conversation with yourself in your home and your notepad and your laptop and just Googling or chat GPT and things, which is not a bad thing, but the more you speak with people, the better. That's just my take anyway.
No, it's true though. And I feel like there's a lot of access and opportunity, like a lot of people now, but people don't have. It's very funny because there's a lot of resources that we have access to that people just don't choose to use and utilize until it gets too late.
What type of resources are you talking about?
I'm talking about even mentorship.
I would love to be able to do that, honestly. Like, even just, again, just someone has my number and can say, do you know what, I need help with this. Or, Sorry, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be in regards to football or even anything else that I do, working in education, life. What would you do if you're in my shoes?
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
100, yeah, no, agreed. I definitely say follow up and make it happen.